So what we're doing with Cisco U is we're bringing a new learning experience for all of you to be able to reskill, upskill, learn new things related to Cisco technologies or even kind of in our ecosystem in general. If you want to get early access, you can scan that code and there'll be a form that you can request to be on our waiting list, and then we'll invite you actually pretty quickly, like after the show. We'd love to get your feedback and experience on that. I'm actually the leader of the product team that's building this thing. So, personally, I would really appreciate any feedback that you might have. What we're doing is we're combining sort of a digital experience with our in-person experience. And so this full learning and certifications area, we're really trying to drive that kind of experience for you. So that's the pitch for Cisco U initially. But what I really wanted to do today was talk to you about this concept of human-centered design for the network. So this is personally a little bit of a pet rock kind of thing. So I'm a big fan of product development as a product management leader. And I wanted to try this idea where we could apply some of the product development principles to designing networks. And so this is a little more philosophical, maybe than some of the other sessions you'll attend, but hopefully you enjoy it. If you do need to reach out to me with any questions, there's my email address. So first we're going to start with a persona. So this is Learner Lisa. And Learner Lisa is somebody that we use to think about who would be the customer for our product. And so you might think, well, we could pick Anton, but Anton's a real person. So we pick a fake person and put all these different attributes on top of them to then think about what are we building and how does it make sense in their world. So who is Learner Lisa? So Learner Lisa is a network architect. She's very busy. She knows she needs to keep learning for her career growth, but struggles to find the right material. And really, time is her most important asset. And so these are things that probably resonate with all of you, I would think. Maybe show of hands. Does this resonate with all of you? So? Okay. And what we do is we'll interview people who are Cisco customers, or people who aren't Cisco customers, people who are new in career, people who are late in career. And we develop these personas that help us think in the abstract for who our user is for a product. And so, we do these cards. We have a user experience research team that does these. And then, so for us, we think about, okay, these are some learning goals that she might have. What features do we need to build in the product to actually meet her needs? And so you can see there's a lot of detail here that we go into, and you can go very lightweight here. You can go very detailed. I would encourage you to go lightweight first if you're going to try this sort of thing. So when we really anchor around why did we build this Cisco U thing, it's like all of you probably experience this issue where it's like, gosh, there's so much learning available to me these days. Where do I go? I get learning provided to me by my employer. I can just Google anything and I end up on YouTube, or even TikTok has people who are teaching Excel classes, which, okay. Maybe 10 seconds of actual Excel is about all I could tolerate from a learning standpoint. But really, this is a key problem that we identified that we thought, okay, how do we fix this for people in your shoes who are trying to keep up with the technology changes, to really understand new technology and so on. So, you might be now thinking, why am I telling you all this? And so we're going to go a little bit through some story here before we get to the punchline. But really, in order to build any solution and to build the right solution, you really have to understand the user. And you might think, and I'm not going to jump quite to the end, this may or may not apply to you, but I think it will and should apply to the way you think about the solutions that you're creating for our joint customers like Cisco and also you. So I'm kind of going to make that argument. In order to do that, I want to take you through a little bit of a basic product management thing. Actually, this isn't so basic. This is a new way of thinking about building products, and it's called jobs theory. It's actually been around for probably 15 or 20 years, but it's become more and more popular in this kind of product development world. And so the core thesis of jobs theory is this: customers hire and fire your product if it doesn't help them make progress in your life. So if you just think on a personal level, like all the apps that you download on your phones, you go and you download it, you evaluate it, and you're like, hey, is this actually helping me get to the train station faster? Is this helping me with my budget, right? Is this keeping things in check? Does this help me be more efficient in my life, remembering things for my family? Any of those kinds of pieces of the puzzle for making you feel like, hey, I'm actually progressing in my life towards the goals that I have. This is a mentality that you can start to adopt in order to then put yourself in the shoes of who you're building networks or systems for. So, one kind of cool example here is from like the 50s, I think. This was from the 50s, and this is in a book that I linked to the reference in the back. But this is a Revlon ad, and Revlon, if you're not familiar with it, is an American cosmetics company. And so they have this tagline, Revlon's Fire and Ice. And so, are you made for fire and ice? And take this quiz. Today it looks kind of silly, right? Because like, wow, this is like very sexist and strange. But at the same time, the point here is this. So Charles Revson, who was the founder of Revlon, he encapsulated the concept of jobs to be done when he said this: in the factory we make cosmetics, in the drugstore we sell hope, right? So it's a different thing when the customer meets your product. And so this is the difference between what customers buy and why they buy it, right? So we need to focus on that why and not just did they buy it. So, okay, what does this have to do with Cisco U? Eventually we'll get to how it makes sense for the network, and we'll kind of have a bit of a conversation about this too. So Learner Lisa is an example of how we worked to understand the jobs to be done of people like you, right? So we're building this not because, oh, it's just going to make another buck for Cisco. Like, we're making this so that you can meet your career goals. We're making it so that you can find the content that you want without as much struggle in your life. And so using personas, using these techniques helped us narrow in on some of the feature set and capabilities that we put into Cisco U. And so how did we implement this internally? So this is a process that actually I brought in from another company that I worked at, where we have two tracks. So we have a validation track, and then we have a build track. So I'll cover this validation track briefly. What we do, and again, this may not 100% apply to your lives, but I think there are elements in here that we'll get to that really I think you can take away and maybe make your products that you build even better. So we have a collection of ideas. So people ping me and they're like, hey, we should have a bookmarking feature. Hey, we should have we need pre and post assessments in the tests. We need like all these different features. So we all have ideas, and that's great. Like, love ideas. But is that idea just something that satisfies my need, like as an individual? Or is that something that we can expand to this persona, right? To a group of people who might all need that kind of functionality. So I don't want to build a feature that just works for you. I want to build a feature that works for 80% of you. And so we have these ideas, and then we stop and we think, okay, is this really solving the problem, like a common problem for people? So we have this phase called problem validation, and it's iterative. All this is iterative. We don't just stop and go like, cool, we're going to look at one thing, and then we just dig down and dig down. We want to do this quickly because time to market is important for everyone. So in the problem validation stage, we're thinking about Learner Lisa, or maybe we have other personas like an enterprise persona. How does this meet the need for reporting in our platform? How does it meet the need and solve the problem of staying motivated, right? Sometimes it's hard to stay motivated for learning. And so we'll look at, is staying motivated a problem that people have? Like on the surface, we all would say, of course. But maybe it isn't for 80%, maybe it's only for 20%. So we want to make sure that we're solving the right problem. And then we're using design, so user interface designs like wireframes. In your cases, it might be something like network architecture diagrams. So like, hey, is this the kind of thing that you might want? Or is this the sort of control plane that you want, customer, in order for me to solve that management problem that you're having within your enterprise? And so we'll do some of this over here. And then finally, we'll narrow it down to a couple of solutions that we think are really solving that core problem. And we pop it over into a solution validation phase. And this is really where we want to take the prototyping and test it with users. And that really allows us to get so much feedback and challenge our assumptions of what we're actually building. There's another thing, if you start digging into this kind of development process, there's a mentality that people will develop where it's like, we have a hypothesis about what might be a right problem or a hypothesis of a solution. We want to prove that it's true or not. And so you try to apply sort of scientific thinking to something that's really kind of hard to put science behind, but there are ways to do that. So once we think, okay, we've got a solution that we want to build, we can work with our engineering organization to go through these phases of building, testing, and launching. But there's a final step where we don't just ship it and then walk away. We need to understand whether this is actually providing that value that we think it did and we thought we proved, right, and de-risked a lot of that through that validation track. We need to measure, right? So we have instrumentation into the platform so that we can see, are people making it all the way through courses, right? And so on. So back to Learner Lisa, and one of the big reasons why we implemented this ML-based recommendation engine in our platform and emphasizes so heavily on this For You page is just that problem that I showed you initially. Learner Lisa has a hard time figuring out what do I need to learn now and when. So we can recommend a lot of different content in the platform to her. So just a quick side step on Cisco U itself. Like I mentioned, this is an experience that we're building. We're launching it in the spring, so you'll have this opportunity by signing up before to get your hands on it, give us feedback, and so on. But it's helping you with certs. It's helping you think about your skills that you've developed, and through these different other pieces of functionality. So here's my question to all of you. And this may be a narrow question, but I'll leave it as this. So like, why are customers buying your network? Are they buying it for any specific more value proposition? And so let's look at this thought experiment. So we may have this portion of my workers are now hybrid workers. How does their network support them at home, at the office, and about town? So you can use a tool like an opportunity solution tree. There are links at the end to kind of learn more about these techniques to evaluate the many ways you could solve this problem. I bet many of you are like, I know exactly what we're supposed to deploy, right? Is anyone having that thing right now? No? Okay, good for you. But you can survey your customer base, your potential customers, and really try to understand what their needs are. Analyze the results, pivot, try to keep doing some of that interviewing before you lay down your design. And so I think personally, only after doing this phase of work will you really have, with a high degree of confidence, what you build will solve your user needs. And so that I would encourage you to kind of learn some of this and try it out, even if only a couple of you do. I would love to hear what outcomes you have. So back to the Revlon example. So in the factory, we make cosmetics. In the drugstore, we sell hope. So this is going to be interactive. So in our office, so just your businesses, right? We make networks. In the customer environment, we sell what?
Hope.
Hope? Well,
Production.
you sell production? What do you mean by production?
Good networking can get a lot of work done.
Ah, okay, so like productivity.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What other ideas? Sorry? Services. What kind of services? Like hamburgers? I mean, you could be more specific, I guess, what I'm asking. Do you think, like, what kind of efficiency? Yeah. What about mobility? What about security? Like, there's all these kinds of things that you could look at as thematic areas in the customer environment. You could also be selling collaboration in that case. So fundamentally, you're selling the ability to transact over wireless infrastructure using RFID type, payment systems and things like that, right? So you can narrow it down even more specifically. And so it's really not just, hey, we make networks, right? We're actually helping people make progress in their lives for, in a goal, right? It might be making more money for them. It might be a nonprofit, right? They need to make it easier for school children to learn in their context. So, this way of thinking may help you unlock, I think, some opportunities for yourselves. It's a little bit tough work. It's a little bit soft work in some ways. But I think if you nail some of this, you could, really make an improvement in your own lives, right? In your own businesses, and differentiate, right, from other folks. So that's kind of the main part of the presentation. But if you want to dig deeper, I put a GitHub page out there that has some resources to jobs to be done theory books, to opportunity solution trees, and so on. So have a picture of that if you. I won't leave it up right now, but I'll put it back up if you guys are shy. But just kind of unpacking what I just shared with you. There are a lot of layers in this story that I just told you. One is around, helping you understand some of these concepts around human-centered design. It's like, how did we use it to build Cisco U? And then how can you use it? And then also how Cisco U can help you in your own careers, like to make progress in your lives. So with that, I will say thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'll be around. There is a raffle. But I'm going to leave this up if anyone wants to check out those resources. Are you doing the raffle?
No, I'm Vanna White here.
You're Vanna White. So thank you very much. Okay. Is everyone ready with their little blue tickets? Okay, 21, 89, 65, 1. Nobody? Are we doing, what, do you have to be here to win?
Yep.
Okay, so much for that person. So we're giving away, what is that, a fire stick? Cool, okay, ready? Whoa. 21,
Now they're random.
89, 82, 5. Oh, we got a gentleman in the back. Congratulations. Okay, well, thanks so much. Enjoy your time. If you want to learn more about Cisco U, we've got a little stand over there. If you're certified, we have the certification booth over there, and I'll be around if you have any questions. Thanks.